Hello to people watching the VOD, and hello to nobody live, because, come on, it's the first second of the video. Nobody is going to be watching this at this stage.
There we go. I've got it up on this end anyway.
Oh, how exciting. Here's Chris.
Hey, boomers!
Hey, boomers! And now I will just retweet the tweet and slam dunk the funk.
Turn it up.
Just gonna do that. Here I go, doing it. Click on this. Stream is now. Sonic 3D. Chris is here. We're having a November-y time. Bang. There we go. Okay, that I think is all the tweeting I need to do.
I'll retweet it myself.
Yeah, how exciting. So now I can start playing the game. So Chris, you're watching this. Is it working?
I see static, and I see your face in a little box in the corner.
Fantastic.
That's what I'm supposed to be seeing.
That's exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Oh, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will bring up I will load it up the stream, so I can see what the people in the chat are saying. I will quickly turn the sound off. There we go. That wasn't very quick, but I managed it just in time. Okay, where's Miss Aga? There it is. Where shall I put Chris's little face? I'll put you down there.
My wee face.
That can go.
Just my little drawing face, though. I assume you mean not the camera.
No, I can see you. I can actually see you.
Can you put me on the screen, One?
No, I can't. I'm not. Actually, you know what? Actually, technically, I could actually put you on the stream, but as I haven't arranged that, I'm not going to. But another time I could.
Fair enough. Sure. You know, this was not planned.
No. And yes, I can see the chat. Everybody is there. My face is currently melted. Yes, there seems to be a bandwidth problem.
Bitrate thing there.
Yeah, that's not normal. Wonder why it's doing that. Can I fix that in any way? I wonder, because it's the same internet as usual. You know, we're not doing anything with the internet we shouldn't be. I suppose we are in a way. We're doing a Skype call, but that shouldn't. Oh, I know, Chris. Turn your camera off. I bet it's using up bitrate. For me, like from my internet.
Which one is it? This one? Nope.
That just turned a light off, so he got darker. Let's see if that does anything for my bit rate. Oh, I've lost Chris altogether. Hello.
Don't know. Oh, it's because Skype automatically switched over to the built-in camera.
Aha. Well, it hung up on me. I got the whole boom.
No, not on this end.
Anyway, this is not currently working, and I can't stream a game like this because the game itself will be just as disgusting as my. People are saying it's just the static is making it. Let's see what happens if I start a game.
Play some game.
Let's see what happens. Yeah. It's Sonic 3D tonight.
Oh, question.
Hello.
Will I be able to hear the game?
Not well. You will if you. No, you won't.
No, because you were going to say I will if I hit the button on the stream. But
Yeah. And similarly, I can't hear you very well right now. You're much quieter than the sound, so I need to turn that down. That's something I can do on my end. Okay, there. We should be able to hear Chris again.
I remember the guy who animated this opening.
Oh yeah.
Cutscene or animatic, he tweeted, it was a year or two back, he tweeted about how the process that went into getting something of that complexity onto a 16-bit cart.
Yeah.
But it was all Greek to me, you know?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, yeah, I can't tell. Apparently, May says that Tom Scott did a whole video about this, but it's 1996, that video doesn't say... What, Tom Scott did a video about Sonic 3D?
Or bit rates.
Oh! It will be bit rates, won't it? No, I understand that. I normally understand that. I just didn't realise it applies in this particular case to, like, that it would do that in that way. But yeah, of course it did. It makes total sense. Thanks, Tom. We're playing Sonic 3D today on the first STCTP Sonic the Comic podcast. I forgot what it was called. Stream. I'm sure everybody watching knows that me and Chris host a podcast, Sonic the Comic the podcast, where we read Sonic the Comic, the old British Sonic comics. Look how happy he is there with his big cheery face, big thumbs up.
Big round head on him.
Actually, I'm a VTuber now, and I'm Sonic the Hedgehog. Yay! Yeah, so we'll be... I need to read this, actually. I was going to read it tonight, and did not.
Tomorrow, but yeah.
Yes. Here's a cup of tea. And here is a strange game. So it's 1996, everybody. And we went and bought this, didn't we, Chris? You and I?
No, I got it for Christmas.
Oh, all right. We had this game anyway, and as you will hear us talk about on the current episode of STCTP at stctp.zone, we therefore automatically liked it, but I think it's more than that. I think it's good.
I haven't played it in a very long time, and I'm not playing here today. Dave's the man in control today.
Yes.
I'm just watching and chatting.
That's right, yes.
I guess we've been talking about doing streams for
Haven't we?
a long time now, and eventually I'm sure we'll figure out some way where we can both have our heads on the thing and both actually play a game at the same time.
Maybe.
That doesn't involve us being in the same room.
Unlikely, but maybe.
Maybe.
You can never be sure.
I will change the flickies into robots and have them search for the Chaos Emeralds for me. Using the infinite power of the emeralds, I will conquer the world.
And yeah, Sonic tries to find his mates, the flickies, but he only finds robots, and that's rubbish. Does Dave know how to get Director's Cut, to be fair? Listen, do I? I once knew. I don't know if I still know, but this isn't that. This is just the game, because you know when people make a Director's Cut, you know what they're doing? They're fiddling. I like this game. I don't need it to be better. It's good.
Is there an actual director's cut, or when you
Yes.
say director's cut, what do you mean?
No. This was project led by one guy, and he did a lot of it himself. And as in this actual real game, the chap at Traveller's Tales, who now has a YouTube account called Video Game Hut or something like that. And he...
Cyberlink420 said earlier in the chat that this is John Burton was his name.
And my controller's not working. I set it up specially. I set it... I know why. I've not focused it. He has made a director's cut of this game where he's just...
The chat is saying I'm very quiet.
Oh. Well, I can't account for that, because I can hear you, and they're hearing what I can hear. Let me...
You know I'm not a quiet person.
There we go. That'll do it. I know why. That'll do it. Sorry about that, everybody. He's not, is he? Yes, there is indeed a director's cut of this, and it's by the bloke who made it, and he's improved a few things, but the things he's improved
there you go.
are based on the fact that people don't like the game, and I do, so I just want to play this. Maybe we'll play the director's cut later.
Fine. Yeah, I would. Yeah, that would be for comparison's sake.
Yeah.
I'd need to see what the difference was, you know?
So it's 1996, and we've got Mega Drives, and we plug this in, and look at this! Look at it
go.
He's in 3D, everyone! I mean, I know that's not exciting now, but it was then.
I wish I could remember what I thought about this at the time. And I mean I played it and I enjoyed it, certainly. But
it's Sonic.
What did I think? Did I think that this was the next Sonic game? Or did I think that this was a spinball?
Yeah.
You know?
I do know.
Bean. What did I think this was?
Yeah,
you know?
that is the question. I don't remember that myself. And it's just occurred to me that the reason they can hear you is they can hear everything that's coming through my speakers. So I ought to check what I've got loaded up that might suddenly make noises. I suppose I should close Discord. People can make noises with Discord, can't they?
You can just close Discord. You don't need that to be open right now.
No, because we're talking on Skype because we're old.
I don't know what we could have just talked on Discord. I don't know, whatever would be handier, you know.
Yeah. Oh well, another time, mate. Right, look at it. It's Sonic, and here's how you know it's Sonic. Watch this.
We got a ring.
Got a ring, and I went through a loop. But probably for the first time in the franchise's history, they solved the problem of loops by putting them on rails. A dangerous portent of things to come.
Well.
But look, here we are. We're in 3D. We're in the old sort of 3D, where it's...
Some aspects of 3D simply demand that you put things on rails, though. I've never had much of a beef with that, you know?
No.
I mean, what is the homing attack if not jumping on robots on rails?
Well, yes, but that's one of the things complained about for that very reason.
But that's because Sonic in 3D is rubbish and it's hard to aim your jumps, so they had to do a homing attack.
Yeah.
Actually, hang on. Doesn't this introduce the homing attack?
This introduces the homing attack.
Yes, the gold shields give you the homing attack in
They'll
this,
have
don't
that
they?
soon, I should imagine. But this appeals to me. Look at it. So you saw... so if you're not familiar with this game, I just popped that robot. Out came this bird. Normal for Sonic. But in this, you collect it. And it follows along behind you. In fact, I think I had another one a minute ago. Where's that one gone? No, I didn't. I can't have done. I didn't pop any robots
Didn't pop any other robots.
No. Oh, look, a little splash, splash through there. And you see how the bird kind of follows along in my wake, like Yoshi eggs. Well, you can use that to get higher up things when you get an extra life that's too high up on the spring. You'll see what I mean later.
Yeah.
And the whole
It's been so long since I've played this.
And the whole thing is done in Marble Madness 3D, look, where it's isometric squares to show you what the 3D is. And look, it's totally effective. You can see exactly what the 3D is. Check it out. I'm going to do one of them into this, one of these, and pick up his bird and take her out for a nice now on the town.
I was going to say pick up his bird.
We can all see, can't we? There's a bombable wall there. But it is a spin-dashable wall, because this is a Sonic game. By the way, here's something I've always been very fond of. Look at the shape of him. Ooh, look at him. Isn't that nice?
Smooth.
He's like a big egg.
Right, it's officially an STCTP stream now.
You're collecting rings not just to avoid getting hit, but because there's an in-game mechanic where they are currency. You'll see what I mean in... imminently.
Yeah, that's right.
Probably right now.
Hey, there's the gold shield.
There's the gold squeaky shield. Can't use it yet because I'm meeting my friend Knuckles, and I'm going to give him some of his memory medals. Here you go, Knuckles. 66 of them. And now we're in the special zone. Look, it's rubbish.
The 3D effect in this is worse than in the main game. That's the thing that always amazed me, because, you know, people get on. Sonic 2 still looks good.
Yep.
And Sonic 3 and Knuckles still, you know, it was like, ooh, we're in the special stage now, and it's in 3 dimensions, and we're running ahead into it. And this looks crap compared to those.
Yeah, it's...
In the game where 3D is the selling point.
It's pretty clear that what this is some kind of... some kind of image, isn't it? That's stretching and doing 3D things, probably line by line. I bet it's very clever, the way it's unfurling.
Maybe.
It just doesn't look very... do you know what it looks like? It looks like a demo on the Amiga, where before a game, you know, a crack tro, where they'd be like, look what we can do. Scrolling text, but down and in 3D.
The one big appreciation I always had for this special stage is that it's a piece of piss.
Yeah.
No worries about not getting all the Chaos Emeralds.
Yeah. Yes, the Saturn version, of course, had a better special zone, but that's not the version I care about, because got the wrong music. This is not so much this track, but Sonic 3D has what I really think of as one of the better Mega Drive soundtracks ever made. It's got some really moody, nice stuff in it.
This track, I can't hear it, so I'm... is it regenerated?
I've got hit, I think. Let me see if I can get it back from in there. So this track you can't hear, but...
Yeah, this track I can't hear, but is this one? Is this the one that gets recycled for Sonic Adventure?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the Windy Valley zone.
The Windy Valley, and it's much worse in Sonic Adventure.
I couldn't tell you.
As is the other. There are 2 tracks from this recycled in Sonic Adventure, and 1 intro, and all 3 of them are just much better in this.
I would have to sit them.
Please do.
Next to one another to compare.
Here we go, everyone! Sonic's very first homing attack. There it was. And in this, it's given to you as a little bonus power-up, because you can aim your hits. If you're good, you can do that. But they
well, it's easier also whenever the floor is a checkerboard.
Well, yes. But they acknowledge that it's simpler to just home in, so they let you do it if you're skilled enough to find the little screen. And I think that's a good compromise. Would be nice. I don't see why the ground can't be a checkerboard in 3D, modern Sonic games in 3D. So that it makes
Imagine Frontiers with the massive checkerboard reaching out before you into the horizon.
Now Frontiers is a different beast. So let's broach this. We haven't broached this yet. Chris, have you played it?
I have played it. I'm on the second island at the moment.
I am also on the second island at the moment. I feel as if, like, I don't know, maybe we should talk about it on the show, because otherwise it'd be a bit of a glaring omission.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Not that there's not really a place for it on our show, except...
Well, that's by the time the episode in which we talk about it comes out, it'll be over. The game will be over a month old anyway.
Well, I was wondering about slipping it into next weekend's episodes. Recording it on Saturday, tomorrow, and then day after tomorrow. But then slipping it into the next episode just so that it is a bit more timely. But in short, I like it.
And I, in short, believe you've tricked yourself.
Yeah. I thought that might be yours.
The only way I can put it. I'm convinced Dave Boomer has tricked himself into liking Sonic Frontiers. Because I'm playing it too, and I'm enjoying it well enough.
Yeah.
But I'm playing it, and I'm like, I don't know that I'd stick with this if this wasn't Sonic. If I wasn't invested in it in that sense.
Now that is a question, isn't it? And yes, I bet I have. But that's the authentic 90s experience. I mean, here we are. Here we are playing Sonic 3D, which we've just discussed on the last episode of STCTP. Which you'll find at stctp.zone. Do we like this? Did we like this? Or was it just that it had the Sonic name attached?
That is neither here nor there, because you don't trick yourself into liking any other Sonic games from the last 20 years, whereas I have done that many times.
Well, but also I haven't bought them, that's the thing.
You didn't spend money on them. That is important.
Now look, Abby is a Sonic person now. So there's an aspect of that this time round as well, and that makes me wonder.
I'm surprised that you jumped on it as quick as you did, yeah.
Well, yes, that's because we didn't. In fact, there was some dilly-dallying. We could have had it earlier than we did.
So you haven't bought it then?
No.
Then how have you tricked yourself?
Well, that's what we're saying. That's the question. Do I just like it?
Well, here's the simple thing: is like, if you just like it, then I don't understand why you don't just like a bunch of other games.
You mean Forces in particular?
Just as the most recent example, because the levels outside the open world are literally just Forces levels.
Well, yes, I don't deny it. Except, some are better than others. I played one today, or yesterday or today, that was an actively really good one. And it was... Well, I'm not going to be able to... It's on the second island. Can you really not go back there? No. Oh, interesting. It's on the second island, and... By the way, have you noticed? I'm playing unhurriedly. And I think people make the mistake of playing Sonic 3D like it's a Sonic game and rushing around.
It's a game. They play it quickly to get it over with.
Yeah. I don't feel the need to do that. I just explore because it's 3D and I'm exploring. And I do remember being like that then. Anyway, yes, there was a level I played today, which was a Green Hill Zone themed level, where there were loads of different routes you could take and different stuff you could do, and you could see that if you just jumped over there, you'd find a secret place, and over there, there's this, and over there, that. I loved it. That was a really good level. And then there've been other ones that are just like,
Well, if it's the level I'm thinking of, that's just a Forces level.
That's literally a level from Forces. Yeah.
If I'm remembering correctly.
Yes. I think what it was with Forces, I think there's a flicky missing, isn't there? That's why I'm wondering about.
Is there?
Nope.
1, 2, 3. I can't count.
No, there isn't.
No, I see 4.
Yeah, you're right.
You need a 5th.
Yes, but look, it's out. So I've
it's out.
So
You've
lost
popped it. Where's it
gone? Oh, now, so this is the other thing about Flicky's Island, is that you are trying to get these Flickies and put them in the ring. And if you get hit, your Flickies scatter like rings. And then you have to get them back again. And if you didn't notice you're missing one, you might end up looking all over the level. This frustrates a lot of people. I quite like it. Bye. The idea of he was a bad egg. The idea of having to look around for a little guy, that appeals to me. That's why I like the Chow hunts in what was it, Sonic Advance 3. Anyway,
oh god, no. I never even got onto Sonic Advance 3. I couldn't with the advanced games, honestly.
Yeah.
Not because the actual level by level gameplay, probably some of the best stuff, for us old 2D heads at the time, but it was the sheer impossibility of getting to and completing the special stages.
Yes.
And then I was like, well, if I can't get that, then I can't finish the game properly, so why am I playing the game?
Yeah, actually, but I don't know what area the bird I've lost is in. That's
no, you've been all round. Where is the bird?
We'll find it. Yeah, oh, I feel like we're on a tangent there. We were in the middle of saying something. What could it have been?
The STCTP recording experience.
What about it?
going off on tangents and
I
forgetting
see.
what you were saying.
Oh, I thought that's what we were talking about, you mean? Dum, dum, dum. Go south. Okay. Oh. I was tricked. Ah. Ah.
Yep.
Down here somewhere. Whoa. Somebody tell us what we were talking about before we got distracted with whatever we were then talking about. Whoa!
About Frontiers and Sonic being good and not good and bad. Good
Yes,
brackets bad.
Frontiers, of course, yes.
Hey,
Yes!
there's Tails!
There's Tails.
I'm watching on a slight delay on the stream. So.
Not a very big delay by the sound of it. Frontiers, yeah. No, I don't know. It is the fact that there is something other than those levels. Like, if it was just another game of those levels, I wouldn't be enjoying it. It is that they stay in their lane and they come up now and then, and the rest of the time, it's really interesting. But they've taken the controls that we're used to, and that I'm bad at this very easy thing. The controls that we're used to and that I have come to dislike quite a lot since. I lost the special stage.
You big idiot.
The controls that since Sonic Generations, which I enjoyed, and which was the same, I've got very sick of and like don't like anymore. Instead of reinventing it takes those controls and goes like, how about
Hang on,
this?
do you have 5? You do have 5.
Oh, apparently I've picked it up somewhere along the way. Okay.
No, that definitely wasn't there before.
No, it wasn't. Let's see if the people in the chat know what's going on.
No, nobody said. Siege Feather said you'd somehow managed to despawn it. You played so well. It's like, yeah, the bird has magically appeared after the special stage. Right, go and dump them flickies where
I
they
will,
need
but
to
let
be.
me get my respawning yellow shield. That's very useful. Did you just call them clickies?
If I did not mean to.
Oh, by the way, something I appreciate, and I've now got this shield, so it's going to be very difficult to show you, is that, look what I can do. If I go up this hill, I can roll down it, like in Sonic. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing I like about Sonic 3D, right? It is different from a Sonic game, and depending on what you like, it can be a weird game to play. It feels good to me because there's games like this on the spectrum, you know what I mean? This feels normal to me, and it's a British game. It's probably a similar sensibility. But it does have an equivalent of nearly everything from Sonic presented in this new format. You've got your rings, you've got your checkerboards, you've got your springs and all of this. And whereas, you know, they've discarded them as they, you know, felt they didn't need them in future 3D Sonic games, and that's fine, and of course that's what you should do, but of course I resent it as well.
Well, I mean, Sonic Team has made a 20-year career of coming up with ideas and then immediately dumping them.
Yeah.
Instead of building upon them.
Well,
yet they won't ever get rid of grind rails, will they?
Well, that's what I find so interesting about Frontiers. This is what I was saying, is that they have taken all that stuff. Come here. They've taken all that stuff. Grind rails, the stupid hand-holdy things that pull you up. All that stuff that annoys me in the more recent modern Sonic games. Doing, you know, over-reliance on springs that send you into scripted grind rail-y bits and you then have the homing attack. And I can't do this. And they've made it into a game I like this time.
But how have you tricked yourself into thinking that? That's what I'm getting confused
It's about how
it's not different.
But it is though. He's got more moves. The controls are better and customizable
More moves.
as well.
Oh no, come on now, hang on. More moves. Listen, it. So I did a fight last night, and it was the fight with one of those sumo things where you bounce off the ropes,
yeah.
and you blow it up, and it blew up, and I did go, I'm Sonic the Hedgehog, because that was fun, and it was like, hey, check out that cool feat of speed I just did there. But the actual combat, it's nothing.
Yeah.
The different moves are absolutely nothing. I can't believe there's a skill tree for them. They're nothing. They're just the same thing with a different animation.
Yeah. can't tell you. It's just a little bit of variety, I guess. What it does do, and it is about tricking, and a lot in games is about tricking, isn't it? It's about like, well, what would make this feel... Think about the... I've got them all. Think about the stage, like, just before a game comes out, like a couple of months before a game comes out, where it's nearly ready, but not quite. Those last few months are just tweaking, in any game, are just tweaking it to be like, what if the thing we already made... but just a bit better, a little bit more responsive. What feels better to press when? Just that polishing. That's what I feel it's had, and it's tricking me into thinking it feels significantly different.
I feel like I should. I mean, I sound like I'm bashing the game, and I'm not, because I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
But I'm just concerned for you, Dave.
Well, why aren't you concerned for yourself? I mean, you're hardly Mr.
Oh, because
3D Sonic.
I'm lost to it, you know.
Ah.
I've been at it for years already.
Oh God!
I don't understand
what
it is. What it is about you not doing. Oh God!
So you just like modern Sonic games?
I don't mind them, honestly. Is the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. It's a funny thing. It's like the Boost era went on long enough that who came up on it started to hate it. You know.
Yeah.
Like, oh, give us Sonic Adventure 3. Yeah, whatever. You've had a million Sonic Adventure 3s.
Yeah. We had Sonic Adventure 3. It famously didn't go well.
Which one are you thinking of?
Well, when I said that, I was thinking of 06, but World Adventure, whatever it was called, that wasn't very good either. What was it called? What was Werehog called?
Oh, Unleashed.
Yeah.
It was called World Adventure in Japan, wasn't it?
I think so. And it wasn't very good. Like, what people... It's difficult to discuss that one, because that was a game that had some really good bits. And then it kept dumping you into the really bad bits that went on for absolutely ages between them. With Frontiers, I think the balance is right. I think both bits are good enough that they give each other the variety. When you switch to an action stage, it's like, oh cool, one of these. And when you're back to the overworld, you're like, oh cool, this. And it just... The
overworld, I'm still trying to figure out my opinion of it, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like in your average open world game, it's like the overworld is the thing that you move around in it to... There are missions, and there's the dungeons. There's the actual bits where you go, where you make the levels happen. And in the Sonic game, you do those, except they last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
As compared to your average open world game, where that's a whole bit of the game that you then go off and play before returning to the overworld. And it's so right. Watching the trailers for Sonic Frontiers all those months ago, I kept watching the trailers and asking myself, where is the game though?
Yeah.
Because the trailers only ever showed you, and the demo plays showed you running around, bouncing off loops and doing rails in the overworld, and I was like, okay, but to what end? And then whenever the trailers actually started showing you the cyberspace levels, I was like, oh, there's the game.
Right.
But now that the game's out, that's not really the game. The overworld is the game. So the game is collecting memory tokens.
So in a post Breath of the Wild world, why were you going, where's the game, when you looked at Breath of the Wild?
I haven't played Breath of the Wild.
Oh, right. Well, the game there is just like... just noodling about. It's just being there and going like, oh, I guess oh, what's that? I'll go and do that. And I think that's what this game has, but in a way that, while it's clearly a Breath of the Wild clone, in the same way that Phoenix game was, which I also enjoyed, this is just a genre we have now, and are they good or not? This one...
Well, I mean, Zelda is different in that regard, though, because it's all about pootling around an overworld and finding the dungeons and the side quests and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So it is weird to put Sonic in that, but I'm impressed with how they've done it, because they've taken the idea from Breath of the Wild of like, oh, look at that, what shall I do with it? And they've made it that what's over there that you're looking at and wondering what to do with, instead of being, I don't know, a big...
What's over there is nothing until you get a bit closer and it pops in.
That is true. That is true, and I wonder if that is better on better hardware because I'm playing on PS4.
As am I.
Yeah, so maybe I'll try the PC version at some point.
Well, everybody's been talking about the pop-in in all the reviews I've seen.
Right. Yeah, it's quite bad, and it has to be a compromise for the likes of us, hasn't it, who don't have PS5s and whatnots.
I don't know.
It's got to be, because that...
As Spanky says in the comments, the pop-in on PS5 is horrifying.
Right, okay, so it is the whole game.
Mm.
That has to be a compromise so that it runs on all these different systems. I mean, it has to be. Like, this is solved. We don't have that problem anymore on this size map with this little in it. Because the thing is, it's all spread out. Oh yeah, so what I was saying is that in Breath of the Wild, what you see over there that you wonder what you'll do with might be a mushroom that it looks like you can stand on. I bet there's something on it. In Sonic, it's... Well, there's some more grind rails and stuff. Let's see where the entrance to that is. Let's do them. And generally speaking, they're all quite fun. Yeah, I just think I like it. I think I do like it. It's not one of my favourite games I've ever played, certainly. But there's something... I don't know. There's something refreshing about having a little big game that's like...
There's
well,
definitely something to it.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's the blueprint for the future of Sonic.
Yeah.
But there's something to it.
I'll
certainly continue playing it and getting to, and I will finish it, you know.
And now, and here's the most unlikely thing. Oh, should have done that. Here's the most unlikely.
Spanky also comments that the writing is really good, and
right.
I guess I haven't seen, and I don't imagine, Dave, you have either really seen any of that yet.
I've seen bits, you know, just in... Well, I've seen as much as you have, you know, just in the talking.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yes, like the character interactions are leaps and bounds, even at this early stage of the game, beyond Baldy McNosehair stuff, you know.
And what I was going to say a minute ago is that the thing I have to acknowledge, which is unlikely for me, and I feel weird about saying, I've gone completely the wrong way, haven't I? Is that... In this modern Sonic 3D Sonic game in 2022, I saw a cutscene about lore, about backstory and lore that made me so interested that I wanted to continue playing.
Let's not speak in any detail in case I haven't seen the same cutscene, but I think I know the cutscene you're talking about.
You have because because it's the one before you leave the first island.
Oh, it's the one with Amy seeing the past of the two Cocos.
The two fellas.
Yes, that was the thing where I was like, oh, you know, otherwise I've been running around handing hearts to Amy for her to go, the world is lovely and I want to love it with my love. And then that gets dropped in on me and I'm like, oh, hey, whoa, hey, hold on here.
And it sets you off going like, oh, it sets you wondering what it is and speculating and just being excited about Sonic lore in a way that the last time I did was, well, 1999.
To me, that was the biggest disappointment with Forces in particular, as a recent example. Was that at the very start of Frontiers, you think it's got something, but then you keep playing Frontiers, and it's like, no, it's as much of a nothing as any of the last decade's worth of Sonic games, where the levels are just the levels happen, and then a wee cutscene plays, and there's not really a plot. It's just about moving from one place to the next, and you know, but there's this stuff in Forces where Robotnik's like, oh, I've got a plan, and I'm going to do my plan, and it's going to be in 3 days' time, and you're like, oh, what could he be counting down to? And it's like, some more of the same shit that's already been happening in the game, just bigger. Is you know.
Yeah.
There was potential in Force's story. It was frustrating that it amounted to nothing more than a colors or a generations.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. There's been an odd scale problem with Sonic games where, like, when they do one that's supposed to feel big, it never quite does. I think, again, it's all about balance. This one doesn't feel like it's trying to be much bigger than it is. And... I don't know, it's... Were you
talking about Frontiers or Sonic 3D here when you said that?
Sorry, I mean Frontiers, the new one.
Well, I don't know how big it's going to get yet. I mean, the implication is certainly that there's some huge stuff waiting to be revealed for you and I yet, but we don't know.
Well, alright, story-wise, yeah, but in terms of the gameplay, it's... I don't
Oh,
think
yes,
it's
well,
overshooting.
yes, I mean, I'm on Island 2, and I'm like, am I just going to do 5 islands of the same thing?
Yes, I don't think it's going to be a very long game. When I so what happened when I was playing it? I was streaming it, and I got to a cutscene, another cutscene, and it's the one. And again, I won't say what happens in it. It's the one when you finish the first boss of the first island. There is a very brief flash to a character, a new character, who says something, and I had subtitles turned off. So they said the thing just in an alien language, and my chat went off going, "Oh my god, when you turn the subtitles off, it also turns the subtitles off for those guys." And it turns out we're supposed to know what they're saying, the ancient creatures.
Oh, that's... You know, not to keep bringing it back to Forces, but it's like Forces and Colors, you actually can't turn the subtitles off on them. And I was overjoyed to hear you could turn the subtitles off on this one, and now you're telling me I got to turn them back on? Jesus.
So, well, what I did was I went and found the clip on YouTube. And the reason I'm bringing that up is that the clip, when I found it, was like comfortably a quarter of the way through the entire video of all the cutscenes from the game. So it's not going to be a very long game.
Well, that's about, one's worth per island, isn't it?
The other thing, though, that I'll say is that when I saw what that character did say in that brief split-second clip, in which I thought they just said, ancient alien, Ashura. Nope. What they said has completely changed my understanding of what was going on.
Oh, I better go and look it up myself then.
So it's when you land the last hit on the last boss. That's the bit you want to find, and you want to find
the Titan on the first island.
Yeah, and you want to find the video with subtitles because there's one with none.
I can't even remember anything happening. So
it's literally just a flash of one of those new guys.
I will have to go and look it up then.
But it sort of changes.
I hate watching things with subtitles.
I can't do it.
Because I read them before the characters have spoken them.
It ruins the whole thing. And
thank you. Oh my god, it's like nobody understands this. Thank you, Dave.
The punchlines to jokes come in before the joke has started.
There's no sense of you don't get the actor's timing because you've read the answer already.
Yes,
it's a terrible way to watch anything unless you actually have some kind of
you need
condition that requires you to do it.
Yeah. And that can be any condition. That can just be
if like any number of conditions that can require it. Yes.
If your brain just needs to read rather than listen, fine.
Yeah, sure.
But and I'm not at all ruling out that I've got some sort of opposite condition to that because brains work in different ways, don't they? When I've got subtitles on the screen and there's no and. When I've got subtitles on the screen, often I don't either read or hear it because I'm trying to do both. And it's like it's like someone saying numbers while someone else is trying to... Do you know what I mean? What's that? There was that old joke picture someone did where it was like one of those Christian illustrations of Jesus standing behind someone as they do some maths, but they edited it so that he's just saying random numbers to stop them being able to do the maths. That's what it's like for me, reading subtitles while someone's talking. I find it tremendously difficult.
It's not that I find it difficult. I read them ahead of the people speaking. That's my problem with it. I read them faster than the people speaking. It throws off the timing of everything.
That's why. That's what I'm doing, and it kind of... Therefore, I'm reading something else to what people are saying, and there comes a time when I just stop taking either thing in. So yes, I ordinarily always turn subtitles on. Now, having turned them on again now, because I know there's going to be more of those cutscenes. Watch this. Everyone's annoyed by this fan, but I used to like it. Bangy bang boing, bangy bang boing. Having turned them on, it's not that bad because cutscenes are in widescreen and the subtitles are always in the black.
Down below the bar,
Yeah, so that's actually kind of fine.
It's all right.
Yeah.
But,
It's not good, though. They didn't mean to. And it is a problem, and they'll probably patch it.
Patch that in and patch that S-rank time requirement for level 1-2 while you're at it.
There are several things that I'm like, this isn't working, and I hope they change this. But none of them are that bad, except the flipping laser puzzle. God!
No, I didn't have too much trouble with it.
Were you straight in with that? I've seen
Not
people...
straight in, no. I was like, right. And I sat and looked at it for a couple of minutes, and I was like...
And you worked it out?
50-50.
That's the thing, because I've seen people...
That bee really looked like Charmy.
I know, they do! I've seen people, like, do it accidentally, you know, because we've... Basically, me and Abby have been looking up, you know, videos of people doing it to see, like, am I an idiot? Or is this...
It didn't feel intuitive.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like there was an obvious small number of turns to make. Like, I rotated all of them a bunch of times, and I was like, wait, I see what's going on here. And then sort of brute forcing it.
I never had the I see what's going on moment. I just can't do that puzzle. But, now...
You've got past the level, so you did do it.
No, I didn't. I gave it to Abby.
Oh, right.
And she didn't do it either.
Teamwork!
But she didn't do it either. She just pressed buttons until it worked, because she just had more patience than me. I think. That, not to do it down, that's how she described it. Hey! I never noticed that before.
Where's that?
There's a Knuckles there. There's a Knuckles carved into this. There. And there's a... I guess that's and then a Sonic, and then a Flicky, I guess. Oh, no, it'll be a Tails.
Maybe it's a Tails,
It's a Tails, yeah.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Never seen that before. Wow.
You wouldn't make that out on your old CRTs very easily, would you?
No. Let's put a filter on and see what happens. Not that these are very authentic, I don't think. TV mode.
Oh, Abby's in the comments saying how salty she got with the laser puzzle.
Oh my god, it was the worst. Actually, yeah, I'm technically able to see the chat, but like you might have to read me some of it if anyone says anything. But yeah, if anyone's shouting at me and going, Dave, you'll have to tell me because I can't really see.
No, they're not hurling any abuse at you for playing, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, that is basically what I mean. What is going on in this place, says Kat. What do you mean?
I don't know if she means the level or the chat or the yes, Twitch.
Right, yeah. Kat is...
Oh, now people are hurling words like Dave and abuse.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
We're going to go and drop them birds off.
Oh, yeah. Wangleberry there is... Well, I had extra lives to pick up, but yeah. Wangleberry there is... you can go and listen to her on I Don't Like Mondays, a Garfield avoidance podcast in which her and her husband Guy try not to talk about Garfield and fail every time.
How do you get that, Tails?
Well, this is what I'm wondering. You get a spinny on. I can go downhill.
No, this is it. Do you get a spinny on, right? Okay. Or... I always remember this one befuddling me for a while as a kid. I think if you go through the hatch, is there maybe a cannon that launches you back up over over the thingies?
Well, possibly then. But you can go...
Or maybe you get a spinny somewhere else.
You can go down steps with a spinny. So if I can just get over here...
It'll not get you that far.
I got quite good at this in the olden days. Hey, I got a spinny! Whee! Got it! I rule. Oh,
and
not
that's
allowed
how
to
much
there,
of a delay I'm on. I've only just seen it now.
Oh gosh, that's quite a delay. Sorry about that.
I'll refresh the...
well, no, it's probably me. It's probably me. The broadcast gets... The delay gets bigger as any broadcast goes on, I find. But yeah, I did do it. Oh, sorry, Kat. Yeah, you may... there are probably people in this world who simply can't play this game. I will try and move slowly. I'm supposed to anyway when I've got this spinny on. I do appreciate that. Look, they've made this spinny Sonic in in 3D. They'll have, it'll be a single static Sonic that they've rotated.
They're twirling and whirling it around.
Yeah. Can I get bad things? Yes. Excellent. And that's intuitive. That's what it should be, right? Of course, this a whirly Sonic should pop a bad nick.
Of course. But this goes on longer than I remembered. All right.
Well, I'm just playing badly.
No. I mean the spinning.
Oh,
can you break the spin? Or
no, it goes on forever. You can jump out of it.
Oh, I thought it was short. I thought it was timed. Oh yeah, no wonder you could get the Tails thing with it then. I must be thinking of another one where you needed a cannon to blast yourself up over an obstacle.
No, I definitely remember that. That definitely happens as well.
Oh, all right then.
What's in this door? Is that just the way in, or is there a secret in there? Oh wait, what
That's
if
the way you came in.
Yeah, but what if I was in there? Oh, you'd have thought they'd have hidden a
This
telly.
isn't that kind of game.
It could be. Yeah, it is.
Is it? Okay.
I think it is. I've based that on nothing. I think it is though. Just I don't know. I don't know what I mean by British games, but this is one, and that's the sort of thing you'd get in them. So it's worth a look. Look at this.
Right. I don't know what you mean either.
Look at this Bomberman Zool Knight guy.
Yeah, right. Wangleberry says in the chat it's because it's isometric, and I think that's what it is. I think that gives you the go in the hatch for God's sake.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about the hatch. I'd forgotten I'd done it. Wait, why have I got a...
Because you've come back from wherever you were.
Oh, it's a Soulsborne. The bits of the level link together.
Yeah, you can drop down off of whatever, and it takes you back where you were.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so bad. To be fair, it is a bit puzzling how the 3D works in this, and you do have to kind of get a head for it. And I remember going through that process as a kid. I remember like really getting my head into where the 3D is and how it works.
I can't remember if I'd played many isometric games at the time I played this.
Well, you weren't a specky gamer, were you?
No, but you know they did do isometric games on the Mega Drive as well. I'm just trying to think of any I might have played.
I don't know why I think being a specky kid means you've played isometric. Oh, I do. Yeah, Night Lore and all that.
What's the red shield?
Good question. Well, it'd be a fire shield.
Is it a fire shield?
Well,
but you can't do.
There's no. Oh, there is. There's
special
fire.
powers. It probably just makes you invulnerable to fire.
Yeah, and there are flame jets in this level, so that will.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a golden axe or something that was isometric? Oh, I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Marble Mad. Exactly. This whole thing is Marble Madness looking. Yes. So there are a couple of tunes in this that are in Sonic Adventure where they are worse. That is because the chap, you know, your fella who is the only musician that Sonic fans like if they're young.
Crush 40.
The fella with the guitar, yeah. He wrote this, and
did he?
Yeah, and he wrote this music in Sonic Adventure.
That's why it's good then, I guess.
Yes. It doesn't explain why it's good in this and awful in Sonic Adventure.
Okay, Granddad. Whatever.
It's so bad in Sonic Adventure. The one that's like he's got this awful bass sound.
Wheaties on the left, Dave. Get the thing on the left there.
Thing on the left.
Spinny.
Oh, spinny.
Spinny.
Wait, do you know why I've paused? It's because I'm watching how smooth these are. Watch them turn.
They're very smooth, actually.
Look at that.
Just point that out. Look at that.
It's amazing. How many frames is that? Flipping loads. I was mesmerised. Bong bing, bong bing, bing bong. Yes, I do agree that it would be better in Frontiers if the open worlds didn't just look like nice normal places, but if they were Sonic-y and weird.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah. Wangobo's just saying in the chat. Yeah, playing Frontiers. Watching my husband play Frontiers. Looks like great wireframe for a Sonic game, and nothing fits with the back. Yes, it would be nice if the overworld was Sonic-y.
Yeah. That would be.
I don't know exactly what that involves. If it just means putting checkerboards everywhere, or what,
yeah.
But
that's kind of all I need it to be, and it's odd that they didn't.
And not realistic, basically. I think not photoreal.
Yeah. Now their reassoning will be probably along the lines of, well, it's a
new region.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever. That's what they'll say. I'm gonna go off on one. That's what they'll say in an interview somewhere when questioned about it, and it is what 20-year-olds will then repeat uncritically whenever anybody uses it as a criticism of the game.
By the way, speaking of going off on one and having old man grumps.
Oh, yes.
When I started this stream, the last thing... Oh, so we've recently opened an STCTP Discord. Nobody in the chat put the address in the chat. Because rotters will get in. We're trying to keep it to STCTP listeners so that we have to do the least amount of moderation possible. But we've got a Discord. It is nice, and it's really nice. And we just opened in the last few days, and it's really taken off. And when I started this stream, this is So speaking of Old Man Grumps, the last thing anyone said in the Discord before press the wrong button in the Discord before I started this stream was, I like the design for Caveman Amy. And the thing is,
the new Prime trailer that's just dropped.
And the thing is, I also like the design for. We've grumped about it. We've made fun that it's just going to be, what was it, Cave Amy and what was it?
Jungle Amy and Cave Sonic and Jungle Amy.
Yeah, that was it. Both of which do seem to appear in the trailer.
Yes, and that was something that a listener, I've forgotten which listener, said that their sibling had written in a data script for something they wanted to see be a game.
Oh yeah.
And I've clung on to it ever since. Essentially, I think because the Sonic Frontiers concept art came out not long after that originally.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so this is just going to be that.
You mean Prime, not Frontiers?
Sorry, Prime. Yeah. And that's not to knock it necessarily as art. As I say, yes, some of the designs do look quite nice. I'm just sad again that after a trailer that for half its runtime promises us the first Sonic cartoon to actually have something to do with Sonic. Classic badniks running around classic recognizable zones. Then they all blow it up again and reinvent Archie.
Yeah. But I watched it just before we started, and I don't know, I'm on board so far. I think it looks quite nice.
It took you 20 years to come around, didn't it?
Yeah. Think it looks quite nice at the moment.
You watching Sonic X next?
Yeah. It just looks nice. Now, a big part of what looks nice is that, yes, it does start correct and it has old badniks, and that'll have made me go, ooh. So there is a question mark over, are they... Because it's a TV series, they might go home at the end of episode 1 and then just it be an ongoing thing that they can go to different places. No, this is it. This is the impression that I got while watching it. The impression I got before watching it, just based on the concept of, it's a multiverse hopping version of Sonic, is like, okay, so yeah, we'll do that thing, everything will look fine, then we'll end up in a wrong world, and then it'll be set in the wrong world, like with Sonic X. That might still be what it is, but the impression that I got from watching the trailer is that they're just saying multiverse when what they mean is zones. Like, the places they went to look like zones to me.
No. They'll be hopping to different universes where everybody is different. What I mean is, no, Sonic will be hopping universes and meeting the alternate universe versions of his friends.
Yes.
It won't be his friends coming with him.
Did you see the Council of Robotniks?
I mean, I did. I obviously didn't have as positive a reaction to it as you did.
I loved it.
Because I'm like, but then just like, it's nothing to do with Sonic itself. I'm just super over multiverse stuff.
Yeah.
As a Transformers fan, I have been steadily force-fed multiverse stuff for the last, let's say, 15 years, and it's all been universally bad.
Right.
And now the whole world is on that multiverse trip.
Yeah.
Thanks to, I don't know, Marvel, I guess. I'm not sure what really got us started on, I guess maybe Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
well, Marvel haven't really got too deep into the multiverse stuff. I guess Spider-Verse really started it off.
Oh, well, I mean, I count that as Marvel. It's Spider-Man.
Well, yes, but...
But yes, I see what you mean.
Well, you know what I mean when I say it's not the same, but yes. Yeah, and I'm bored of it, you know? IDW was going to do a big Transformers multiverse crossover to end their ownership of the license, and then someone decided not to, and I'm like, good. I'm fine with that. I don't need it. There's never been any good Transformers multiverse stuff. And I mean, they announced Sonic Prime was going to be multiverse stuff very early on in its development, and I was like, well, this doesn't mean going to any past existing Sonic worlds. That definitely isn't going to happen. Which is, in many ways, the only appeal of the multiverse, as far as I'm concerned.
And it's a big part of the appeal of the Marvel multiverse. They keep playing that trick of like, well, what if you see something you recognize?
Whereas what Sonic Prime has gone for is Cave Sonic and Jungle Amy. That's all they're using it for, to do a pirate, to do literally the exact thing we have spent multiple episodes moaning about on STCTP, to just do genre episodes one after the other. Here's the dystopian future episode. Here's the pirate episode. There'll be a cowboy episode.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I've decided to concentrate, so let's try.
I was getting the This is a concentraty bit, isn't it?
Yeah, because I'm up till now I've just been seeing what my thumb does, but now
Sniper Joe says in the chat, a Father Christmas episode.
I'll be up for that.
We've recorded the Father Christmas episode of STCTP already, and it's surprisingly really, really good. Just wait for that episode in a month or so.
Oh, this is hard. You know, I guess this stuff is where the divide is. I distinctly remember my attitude towards this stuff at the time was like, oh, I better get better at this. Whereas I think a lot of people take it...
You just didn't.
I just didn't. Doesn't matter, does it? Whereas I think a lot of people take it as like, well, this is bad. And it may be. They might be right.
Sometimes that is the case. I think that, like what I was saying about the advanced special stages just a little while ago.
Yes. Oh, Sonic. You silly Billy. Sonic. He is a silly hedgehog, isn't he, this one?
Yeah, it's Sonic that's doing it.
Yeah. You've played... whatever it's called, the new one. What's the new one called?
yeah, he's the one that you blame for whenever everything goes wrong.
He's very silly in that game. A lot of the time.
I think that, like, measurably, Sonic is significantly less silly in Frontiers than he has been in a long time, and you fell down.
I did fall down, yes. Yes, you're right. But sometimes he's quite silly. I'll tell you when he's silly. It's when I want to go one way, and he gets ideas in his head about following a load of springs a different way. But he's always had an attitude, you see.
Oh, yes. Though, mind you, this bit we have to spring and isometrically ensure that you land on a moving platform.
I've realised I can just do it on foot.
I mean, that's still the worst aspect of isometric platforming going.
Yeah.
Those are all painful.
There were a lot of games like this on the Spectrum where you were like... It was an isometric view, and you were like pushing blocks around to go up them to jump onto other blocks, and you know, things like this. And it was... Now, luckily, it was slow, so you didn't have too much panicky running around, but like, ooh, they were tricky.
I was playing one on the Mega Drive Mini.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, what was that one that was on there? Light Crusader, I think it was.
Light Crusader. I will now have a look at Light Crusader. Entertain yourselves, viewers.
Oh, well, you didn't have to stop playing the game for that, but yeah, that was a lot of isometric stuff though. Whenever the idea of actually having to like jump and gauge the distance between stuff.
Oh, this is the one. Oh, now this is the one that I remember when we actually did it on STTP. It came up, and I remember going like, "Oh, Chris, you're not gonna like this because it's all knights in a knight's land."
I don't. It's all right. You know, there's a great difference between the kind of thing it is and the kind of thing I'm not big on.
Yeah, yeah.
And one of it is having to listen to people talk.
Yeah.
Abby was saying in the chat there, we all agree that the... I've lost it, sorry. I scrolled past it.
Oh,
it jumped on me. We all agree the Knuckles anime prequel was totally banter. Totally baller.
Yes.
And it was. That was great. Where's that cartoon? Where's the Sonic cartoon where all the characters just do Sonic stuff, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if something about that, like... Now that I've played the game, I can't help but think that the idea was to make an Amy one and a Tails one, and they just haven't happened.
Well, they didn't. The Knuckles one was specifically necessary to show how he got to the Starfall Islands, whereas the game has Amy and Tails arrive with him.
Okay.
So they're not necessary from that point of view.
I suppose, but it's a lot of effort to go to when you could just change a little bit of dialogue in the game and go like, and Knuckles came too with us.
Well, yeah, but then also like the Knuckles, it starts drop. To be honest, like it got me. If that hadn't come out, I don't know if I'd felt as much. I would have felt as much enough FOMO to buy the game,
right?
Because that little short came out, and
Sonic.
And it was like, hey, Lore, look, a willingness to engage with and actually and further extant Sonic lore.
Yes, and
I was like, oh shit, is this going to be that? Because I had been very worried from early in Frontiers' development that it was going to just torpedo everything I enjoyed about like the current setup of Sonic's world. Someone had said in the chat earlier on something that I had been saying about Forces, which was that I go, what way are you going? Put the birds in the hoop! You are killing me!
I need my birds to get extra lives with!
You have 6 lives, mate!
I've just died.
5 lives, mate.
That's how you play the game. You collect the birds, you get the extra lives, and then you put all 5 of them at once in the ring. That's what you do.
Well, you're not doing that either.
True.
Anyway, I was very worried Frontiers was going to just like... Sorry, I mugged myself. I really enjoyed the world as presented in Forces. Like, that was a large part of how I got as much enjoyment out of Forces as I did. Forces was basically Sonic the Comic, the game.
Oh.
It was all the characters running around the planet where all the zones were their own little areas referred to by name as the Green Hill, the chemical plant, all that. It was not a human being in sight.
Yeah.
And obviously it was a resistance against Robotnik type story, you know. So there's a lot of STC vibes of Forces. And just generally just the way it presented its world. All anthros, no people, all the zones are and they're not treated as like places Sonic goes. You remember that stuff in Generations where like, does this place seem familiar to you? Yeah. And it was like, well, yeah, it should, because it's like a known region of the planet where you live, you know? And whereas this one was like, yes, the Green Hill, my favorite place to hang out. Hey, here we are at the chemical plant. It was like, oh yeah, this is treating the world of Sonic the way I want to see it be treated.
Yeah.
And I was worried Frontiers wasn't going to do that. And I'm not sure what gave me that impression. There was just something in the air about it. But so far it hasn't. The very fact that it actually revealed it wanted to engage then in that Knuckles animated prequel, that it wanted to engage with lore in a way that nothing has since Shadow, probably.
Oh.
Like because I mean, Sonic games are a series of introducing a new thing and then forgetting about it, except for a run of 3 or 4 games in the early 2000s when they tried to have a narrative for a hot minute.
Yes.
And Dave, I swear to God, I'm gonna lose my mind.
It's hard. It's in made up 3D. Just don't look for a while. I'll tell you when I've done it.
But anyway, there aren't any people in Frontiers either, so that's good.
Oh, that's true. Yes. So I was concerned when Sonic fans say things. Okay, I'm on the platform again. How will I get on it?
I'm gonna not talk.
Nope.
You don't talk.
Nope.
Just do
Missed
it.
Didn't get on it.
Oh, for God's sake! This is the problem with the slight delay.
I have to figure out where it thinks it is. You know. I'm trying different lengths of jump one after the other. When Sonic fans talk about like, oh yeah, this one's got lots of lore, that does not make me sing hallelujah. But
oh no, because
because
no, yeah, just because, yes.
But the Knuckles clip gave me the confidence. Just failed again. That when this time round, they mean something quite good. And so then, you know, they were saying that thing about like, yeah, we want a lore consultant now on the series and things.
That is, as I tweeted, the fakest sounding real job I've ever heard of.
And it did turn out
Sonic
to
the
be
Hedgehog
more of a...
doesn't need a Pablo Hidalgo.
And it did turn out to be more of a managerial role where you're basically just like letting, you know, Ian and so on get on with it. Oh! So how do I get on it? I did it a minute ago, didn't I?
You can't spring all the way across, can you?
That's a good question. Might as well try at this stage. Let's find out. Because the trouble is, right, normally you track his shadow across the ground, but there's a gap.
But you can't see it. That's what I'm saying, yeah. Joe and Dr. Mellon there talking in the chat about, Joe says, that's Jolene from Twitter, I wish they'd just start having the humans and animal people hanging out in equal measure. And that probably would actually help me get over my issue with it.
I missed the spring and jumped down the hole.
I genuinely was looking over at the chat, so I didn't have to watch.
What do you mean, hanging out in equal measure?
Where ever since they said Sonic's world has humans in it, it's been an entire planet of humans and the 6 animal guys that there are.
Yes.
And it's just weird. As soon as you make the planet be all humans, that planet is, and as much as you might want to call it Sonic's world and not call it Earth, Sonic Wiki, whatever way you're categorizing it this month, as soon as you make it all people, regardless of what you name the continents, as you did in Sonic Unleashed or whatever,
I could just
it's Earth. It becomes Earth. It becomes our world.
Yeah.
And then there are these 6 animal guys also hanging out on it. And they've set up this idea or I'm not sure if it existed before, but I definitely heard it before. I don't know if it just existed as a fan theory. The idea that the animal people live on the islands, the South Island, the West Side Island, all the animals, the Sonic games and so on, and that the people live on the big continents. Well, that's been codified now as lore by the Tales Tube videos. But it's still,
That's it. That's where I heard it, yeah.
Bad and dumb that the 2 worlds are so divorced like that. I mean, it's still better than the 2 worlds thing. I just didn't mean to bring that up, but yeah. And it's funny to me, though, that they've just codified that back into lore that way.
Yeah.
After all Sonic media got on the same page about there not being people. Like, we've gone through Forces with no people, and then the IDW comics got on the same page as Forces.
Yeah.
And even the live-action movie adopted a position that required Sonic to be an alien from another world rather than somebody who lived on a planet with people.
Yes.
Like, I mean, I remember whenever this first Sonic movie trailer came out, and people were, I say people, but you know what I mean. I mean, people under 25 and Americans responding, going, Sonic's an alien?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, he is. That's the right way. They've taken the correct approach to this film,
Yeah. But what it all leaves me with is, and I'm not very far into Frontiers to know where they're going exactly, but what I've seen so far, the Little Knuckles clip and the cutscenes I was referring to earlier, it's made me be like, actually, I now am looking forward to finding out what these guys do with quote-unquote the lore, because
they
just seem to be all right at it.
I can't. Yeah, I mean, well, it's Ian, so it's not much to worry about in that regard.
Yeah.
I mean, if there was ever a writer who would want to pick up, abandoned plot threads or finally further some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But it would be him,
Yeah. Yes, I don't think I don't know about you, but I certainly didn't expect him to really have the power to do it, though. I thought.
Well, that's it. Whenever they announced he was writing it, I thought it was like, oh, so he's doing the English script on a story that they've chosen already.
Yeah, he's going to come up with the snarky comments to replace Japanese phrases that have no translation. Like,
if you run into one more flame jet, I'm going to climb through this screen and I squeeze the life out of you. I swear to God.
And he'll do it. He's done it before.
But yes, but he did actually have input on the story. So yes, that's what the story at this point, even with only the tiny bit that I've had of it so far, that is what's going to keep me playing.
Yeah. And like, I wonder whether they're gonna what are they going to do in the comics? Adapt it? Assume it
Oh,
happened?
that's it. I mean, obviously this has never been a concern for Archie before. Whereas, not Archie, sorry, for IDW, Archie did those weird things all the time with the comic where they would be like, here's an adaptation of the first level, now go and play the game to see what happens next.
Oh,
and it's
I didn't
like,
like
how
that.
does that fit into the world of what you're presenting? And
Yeah.
don't matter, don't worry about it. But yeah, I mean, I would dread the idea of the IDW comics having to put humans in.
Well, there doesn't seem to be any humans in
Not as a result of Frontiers, no.
No.
But yeah, I don't know if they'll. Yeah,
Where am I going?
it feels a little odd to even think about adapting the game in 2022, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It was a bit different in the 90s whenever it wasn't. Why is it different? Help me explain.
Well,
Oh,
I
Dave, you
guess-
fell down the thing
I
again.
know. I guess it's because the games that they were adapting back in the day, you were making up the story as you went along. Really, he just jumps about so they can do anything. Whereas now they're like done. There's nothing more. There's no more
That's true,
storytelling
yeah.
presentation you need to do to modern games.
You would just be taking that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, like there needed to be some narrative imposed upon the levels of the Mega Drive games where Ian has already done the story of Frontiers in Frontiers and wouldn't need to turn a comic into it. But maybe it's just the internet existing.
Yeah.
Where the idea of needing the comic adaptation of something because the
remember
game
this,
itself was unaccessible.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same way as any comic. You lost all your words. Comic adaptation of anything was sometimes what you had instead of the video.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
The novelization.
well, that's why we don't have comic adaptations of anything anymore today.
Yes, I think that's an error. I think we should, even though they're accessible.
No, comic adaptations are almost universally bad. Dave, please get a ring
Okay.
before you start running in between fire jets to get birds.
I think I've got them all.
That's all of them. Now leave.
I mean, I think I've got all the rings.
No, well,
I don't know where to go. I'm not getting that. Is it over there? Have I got to get over there to progress? Oh! I'm never going to get there. Oh! I died.
but yes, comic book adaptations of films are all bad, and an actively worse experience than watching the film. They exist
Yes,
as a twee artifact of the past that doesn't need to come back unless it's some kind of like commentary on the concept.
Okay, yes, you're right, but I will always... I'm like this with novelizations, right? There's no point to them anymore because you can just get the video. But
Well,
nevertheless-
novelizations are interesting
Yes.
because novelizations provide a storytelling perspective that a film does not always necessarily allow.
Ah, yes. whereas the
From
comic-
internal monologues and prose that can expand on the world and everything. But comic books are universally always constrained by their length and format,
Yes.
which requires a film to be smashed down into 3 20-page issues or whatever, or less sometimes.
That is the issue. I think I'll always believe that artistically you could do a comic adaptation of any given film and it'd be worth doing, but not within the constraints of that format you just said, which is what they always
Not
have
within
to
the
be.
constraints of how they do it.
Of
yes.
how they do it, yeah.
Because there's no. Oh, okay, I was going to say there's no artistic merit in doing a film adaptation, which is a bit of a strong statement. But
in that format, there isn't.
nobody's going to produce a 200-page Euro album
Exactly.
graphic novel adaptation of Sing 2, are they? You know, it's not happening.
Exactly. But imagine if they did. Wouldn't it be great?
The best comic book. You won't have read this, but you should read it because I think you'd appreciate it for what it is.
Okay.
earlier in the 2000s, IDW did a series called G.I. Joe versus Transformers, or was it Transformers versus G.I. Joe? And it was G.I. Joe Transformers crossover, and it was done by a writer-artist named Tom Scioli, and it was all done in like a bombastic Silver and Bronze Age comic book style, a big, crazy, retro stream of consciousness, high concept story. Fantastic work. A great filter for learning if people have taste or not. But as a special one-shot annual after the series was done, they published Transformers vs. G.I. Joe, the movie, the adaptation. An adaptation, a comic created on the pretense that the preceding 13 issues had been adapted into a film that did not truly exist. And that this was now the comic book adaptation of that film.
Oh, I like that.
So it's this bizarre, chopped and mixed sideways version of the story you've just read over the last 13 issues, reduced down to 20 pages. It's like an illustrated Wikipedia summary. It's unfiltered artistic id.
I love that. Did they do what I would have done, which is to make it very clear that the film was bad?
It is genuinely impossible to tell because the series is so, you can't tell when the series is fucking up on purpose or by accident. It is an explosion of. You have to read it. Yeah, you might get a kick out of reading it.
I intended. You may have found the one thing in this world that can make me read anything to do with G.I. Flipping Joe. Just Blokes, the series.
The problem with G.I. Joe is the ones that are just blokes. The baddies in G.I. Joe are the reason to actually.
Oh,
are you back at the start of the game?
Like just blokes but with a snake hat, yeah?
Yeah, but they're not though. You know, like.
Oh, I keep falling down the wrong things. Where am I supposed to go?
I've lost track. I don't know. You're back here again, anyway.
I thought this was the previous level. Carry on, anyway. G.I. Joe.
The villains of G.I. Joe are good because they're all silly things like a Scottish lord who's also an international arms dealer who wears a steel plate mask. And
I don't know. That hasn't grabbed me. What I heard just then is like, ha Scottish, boring arms dealing, and he's just a bloke. So he's got a just bloke face.
Okay, but in Transformers G.I. Joe, he is an immortal cyborg whose metal face is because he used Transformer technology to make himself an immortal cyborg.
Now you're talking. There we are. That's the stuff. Hello, Abby. Spluttering past with her cold. She's got a cold and is poorly.
Chris?
Yes?
Please, if you see advice for Dave in the chat, please read it to him.
Abby is suffering in the back room.
I haven't been looking at the chat too closely.
I'm having a great time.
Oh, okay.
I think you're filling up my health bar.
Speaking of filling up our health bars, what if you were to pour a little Wayne?
Nice idea.
A little Wayne. Okay, I will attempt to read the chat, but then I'll be worse. Abby's so poorly. Oh.
And then there's another guy in G.I. Joe who is the genetically engineered product of like all the greatest villains in all of history. So like they took Attila the Hun and Genghis Khan and Julius Caesar and Dracula and Hitler, and they put them all in a vat and they made the evilest dude possible, and he dresses like a snake and flies around on a snake. Snake. On snake.
You fly on the snake. Thank you, Abby. Okay, well, it wasn't South. Thank you, everybody, for saying South, but it wasn't. Raid. Oh, we've got a raid of a party of 5, which is the minimum I've allowed raids to be. I didn't know that was something you could do. So sorry if anybody with, like, 3 of the coolest dudes in the world have tried to raid.
Raid what? Huh? I'm lost.
A raid... all a raid is on... What? What are you laughing about?
Sorry, Siege Feathers just said in the chat, north is backwards!
North is backwards there, Dave. Okay. Oh, what, you mean that? Do you mean left? Okay. So, what were we saying then? What were we talking about then?
First it was G.I. Joe, and then you were going to tell me what you meant by raid.
Oh, wait, a raid is just when somebody else. So, like, okay, at the end of this, if I noticed that someone I know or follow is streaming, then when I finish this stream, rather than just everybody just relinquish all these viewers and everybody just go home, I could instead put everybody in someone else's stream that's ongoing.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, I know those. Okay,
Yeah.
just didn't know that's what they were called.
Okay, so which way then, though, everybody? Because I keep getting it wrong.
I'm giving up. I'm looking at Twitter. I can't watch this anymore.
Okay, south, which could be anything. It could be that way.
I'm pretty sure
it could be
you
that
were
way.
right there. You've just you
So here.
had it all, and you were there, and you lost
I know.
all. But
Oh, and
right.
then
Siege
left.
Fe-
Up here.
Siege
Oh,
Feather
I've gotta
says
do
south,
this.
Then left.
It's these. I've got to get over these. That's what it is. Oh, God! No, start again. Oh, I can just go up this way. Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to.
There, found it. Oh, I missed some rings, but it's fine. Do you know what? I'm getting the rings. But it's fine. It's fine. I won't die on these spikes. There.
But yeah, that Tom Scioli series is very good, and anybody should read it.
Tom Silly. That's
It's
his name.
very silly. But it's very silly, but in a very heady and genuine way. It's about themes of the coming together of man and machine, and the next evolution and biomechanical evolution and stuff like that too.
There's some fan fics about
Wangleberry
the coming
asks
together
if
of
it's
man
standalone. Yes, it is a standalone series. It's set in its own continuity completely. The approach is that. How did Sealy describe it? As being like, it's the series that the original cartoon is based on.
Yes.
That was the mentality he took to making it. It was like, what if there'd never been any Transformers media or anything, and he took the toys and invented it over from the ground up again.
That's what it sounds like. And when you said about the thingy, the movie, the comic, I couldn't help but think that, like, they should have got Eastman and Laird to do it.
Well, I mean, I didn't know that existed until you mentioned it on
That's
Twitter
true,
there,
yeah.
or whatever that was, or it was on Twitter or whatever. Yeah, but the idea that Eastman and Laird did a comic book adaptation of the Turtles live-action movie, I did not know that, and that's great. That's what film adaptations of comics should be. Yeah.
And it's very sought after, and I remember seeing it in The Newsagent and just being like, oh, I don't need that.
You've seen the film,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where do I go? Do I go over there or not?
Well, it leads you both ways, doesn't it?
What?
Well, that's where the ring is to leave the bird off. And
Okay,
that's
that's
the
what I
last. That's the last bird.
That's what I want. Okay, there we go. Bang and zoom. Baby, let's go.
Straight to the moon. Here we go. Ooh, Matthew Brook Art says he's got a copy of the adaptation.
Oh, Matthew, bring it round. I want to read it.
I saw you tweeting there earlier today or yesterday, or maybe it was in the Discord, that you've got just showing off that copy of the Eastman and Laird collection that they made. I have that one too.
What? Did I? What? Oh, was that in the Discord?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
Right. For some reason, that went in my brain as like that was in a private space, and how can anyone have seen it? But yeah.
Nah, no Discord. Yeah, that was. They were gonna do more of those, but that one came out like literally right as Eastman sold up to Nickelodeon.
That was it. Yes.
So they didn't make any more. But well, that's probably where they should just leave it, because the Eastman and Laird stuff only gets weirder and weirder as it goes on past that intro arc.
Oh right, that's a good place to stop? Is it at the end of that book?
Well, I mean, obviously there's many years before it happens, but I mean, which series was it? I guess it was in somewhere in the last run of stuff that Mirage was doing. They revealed April was a magical drawing that her father had brought to life.
Oh yeah. Didn't they like sort of lightly adapt that in one of the cartoons?
No,
Sensible,
because the idea of the magic crystal that brings drawing to life was an old Mirage comic, the Donatello Micro Series issue, and that got adapted into the 2003 cartoon. But then Laird brought the magic crystal back to reveal that April had been drawn into life by it.
Because it was like that's when he meets Kirby or something, right?
Yeah, Kirby was
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what they adapted in the cartoon. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Spring Stadium. It's just the Casino Night Zone music.
But sweeties.
Yeah.
Are they sweeties? Hang on, is there a sweeties level in this game? I forget.
I don't think so. So we can allow that this is the most sweetie looking one. It's not meant to be sweeties. It's just that it's made.
Hang on, this is
all
world
3D.
this is world 3, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the Diamond Dust is the ice one.
Volcano
That's
Valley.
number 4. Volcano Valley, and then the obligatory
Gadget.
mechanized one. No, okay, it's funny. Oh, that's funny then, because I always I guess in the back of my mind I always kind of remembered Sonic 3D as having a sweetie themed stage, and I guess it was always this. I was
Well, because
misremembering.
those things there are meant to just be nothing. They're just meant to be whatever, just background. But what they look like,
but they look like sweeties in a box.
Yes, they look like what were they called? Were they called Tutti Fruities?
Oh, sure, yeah, Tutti Fruities.
You know the ones I mean. That's what they look
yeah.
like. Is that? I can't pop that.
You used to get Tutti Fruities in the Roundtree's pick and mix bags, but then they took them out and replaced them with jelly tots.
Oh, I think they should both have been in right from the off.
What is the distinction between a jelly tot and a fruit pastel, if not simply size? There's a redundancy there. Well, it's really
right
an STCTP stream now, isn't it?
Do you know what? Given the two, I'd go with the top.
Oh god, yes, no, I would too. I'm not a big. They're too crunchy. I didn't like them as a kid. My poor old man teeth probably wouldn't hold up to them too well now either.
So there's never an error in your life.
Yeah, I know there was a hot minute, maybe in my 20s, where I could have tolerated them.
What are we talking about now? Tutti Fruities or Jelly Tots?
Tutti Fruities. Jelly Tots are all good. I've really got back into Jelly Tots recently.
Well, you only have to gum at them, don't you?
But like, I wouldn't choose to eat a fruit gum at any point now. I would just be too afraid they'd pull my fillings out.
Oh, maybe. Except fruit gums are they're soft now, whereas they used to be hard.
They are softer now than they used to be. They used to be fierce.
Yeah, they were just hard. They were just hard, and I want them to be. It's a shame that they're soft. Like I'm happy with the soft ones, but that's another sweet. I want the hard ones as well.
No, I think they realised that they were doing badly to have them so hard and fixed it.
Yeah.
You just basically, fundamentally, you just don't want sweets to have changed since you were a child.
I don't mind if they've changed, but I also want the old
ones. Yeah, you do.
Well, no, I consider that new. Like, I want the old ones as well.
It's not new, is it? It's like, oh no, they changed the colour of the Opal Fruits wrapper. It's different now. I want the old one back.
Well, yes. But that coincided with a flavour change I didn't like.
So you claim.
Yeah. It could have been entirely psychosomatic, yeah.
This is it. We've all done it. As I said, I've told on this podcast the story of how I was absolutely convinced the Blue Smarties tasted rotten.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Sonic, you silly hedgehog. Da-dee-da-dee. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Do-do-do.
Last time I played Sonic 3D must have been on the Mega Collection on the GameCube. Nothing more interesting to add than that. I'm just sitting here thinking about it.
Do 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 do.
I can't hear it. Is that what's playing, or?
Well, near enough. It's the music for this is that music, but different.
I mean, I know you were just doing the casino notes. So.
Yes. It's like a different arrangement. It's like a remix of the Casino Night Zone. And you never... I don't know if it's meant to be or if it's a total coincidence, but it is, you know, it's a bit of old-timey jazz sounding, and so it's exactly the same. But it's got this middle 8 that's different, so it's like an expansion of the Casino Night Zone. Like there's another added dimension!
The third dimension.
Now, I know it looks like I'm having a frustrating time, and I'm certainly frustrating anybody watching. But I'm enjoying
And
myself.
one of the hosts of the stream.
Well, that's the main thing that
You're
I do.
invincible. Run into him. Get it. Do it.
You're
Just be
right.
done with it.
Oh, you're right. I'm not anymore. Yeah, I'd forgotten I was invincible. I thought they'd just interrupted the music with something annoying. I love the music in this game. This is fairly ordinary, but I love it. And there's just, if you listen to it as an OST, what I did was I made a tape of it when I was a kid, and I used to walk around Liverpool listening to it when I was at university, going, "This is brilliant."
Dave Boomer made a tape. Nah, sounds fake.
I did. It's true. Oh, come on!
That is one thing I've found a little lacking from Frontiers, is the very sedate overworld music.
Yes, I really like it when they put music in. I think the music in the action stages is real good, but yeah.
Yeah. And I respect that they're not just remixes of the zone's existing themes.
It's a surprise, isn't it? Isn't it like actually jarring at first when you first
It
level
was,
is
yeah. My
Green Hill?
first thought was, what? Why is this not the right music? And I was like, because we've just spent literally every game of the last decade doing Green Hill over and over and over again. If we're going to do it again, can we at least listen to something different? And I'm like, yeah, you know what? This is actually the right call.
Yeah. And I mean, it's because there's multiple Green Hill Zone 1s and stuff like that. But like, yeah. A refreshing and interesting change. And the tunes they've replaced them with are the right sort. They're like, you know, they're the right level of EDM and interesting samples and lady singing thing you can't understand. Which is a bit Sonic R-y. Well, you can understand the lady in Sonic R, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's that one level that's got a lady singing along, and I couldn't tell what she was on about.
That's got to be 1-2.
Yeah.
Because I've spent an inordinate amount of time in that level.
You spent long enough to figure out what she's saying.
Yeah, something about disappearing into the light.
Yes, yes.
But
oh, Sonic.
Yeah, that one jumped out at me. I was like, oh, this is a Sonic song I'm listening to now, or was one of those Sonic songs.
Are you not keen?
Oh no, it is what it is, you know.
I mean, yeah, basically, there's categories of Sonic songs historically, and I will take a Sonic R / Today's a New Day over.
Today's a new day.
Oh.
Today's a day. I'm gonna change my way.
I love that song so much, and I'll take that over over a Crush 40 any day.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, Crush 40 are. Here's the thing, bad.
Crush 40 in the 90s was an approximation of popular music in the 90s, as if you know, done by someone who's heard it but doesn't have it in their soul.
Well, that's because, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, it's a Japanese band trying to do what they think like American butt rock music sounds like.
Yeah, and the problem is that in 1998 that was charming, but it carried on.
The fact that they have chosen not to evolve in the slightest,
until it
to
was
the
like
point that people unironically, a certain type of person unironically thinks they should be on the soundtrack to the film.
Yeah. It's like, so Sonic CD, and I know that people like me bang on about Sonic CD too much, but the reason is that when that came out, it was the sound of the future. It was very strange and interesting and up-to-date and modern, but also nobody else was doing anything like it. And it's very Japanese, so we hadn't really heard that sort of sound before. And notice I'm deliberately not touching Knuckles because then I won't get to the special zone if I don't have enough rings all up in one.
But you can bank rings.
You can bank rings, but I think, if I'm remembering right, you have to bank the number you need at once. So you can bank rings, but that's bad.
Oh, I thought you could bank them and just count them up.
That could be it, couldn't it? That would be more sensible.
Do you know what? You've probably played this more recently than I have, so...
I don't know. I don't think so. Oh, well, actually, no, I did do a stream, but I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, no, Siege Feathers says you just add up to 50. You're wrong, Dave. Everyone's saying in the chat, you're wrong.
Ah, there we go, then. That's not one of the things that he improved.
You only need another 3 rings.
Okay.
So don't die now. Oh no, there's spikes that way. Don't go that way.
Yeah, sorry, I'm already that way. Right. Ba 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 ba. Now where's Knuckles? I can't remember.
Oh, if you bank more than 50, that number then becomes 0, and you have to go back up to 50 from there. Siege Feathers says.
That must be what I'm thinking of. Where's Knuckles?
Left.
Okay.
Back.
I eventually go left. Don't worry, Chris. I eventually go left and I found it. It's fine.
Damn it.
There we go. 57 and in we go. Do you know what I heard when I played this? I heard do. And that is why I got a SNES for my 1996 Christmas.
Oh.
Because playing this in November, I was like, oh, wait. Oh, I might have the clout to get a SNES by now. I'm old enough now that I might be able to ask for such things as SNESes.
And you received it immediately, as opposed to the 3-year wait you had to have for your Mega Drive.
Mega Drive, yeah, well, yeah. Well, it was on offer. It was going very cheap, I believe.
And that was, what, 2 years after your Mega Drive?
Something like, yeah. I'll tell you why it was going cheap.
94 was the Mega Drive.
The reason it was going cheap is because the N64 was out that year, wasn't it?
96? Once again, as we have long established, no, don't believe it. Fake news. You made it up.
Well, that might not be the case. It might have been 97 it was out, but I think it was 96.
It could be. But you can't prove it, so, yeah.
Vlad says, I absolutely heard it, Dave. Oh, what? Like you heard that and went, that's a bit like Mario.
Tune, yeah.
Bob DB,
Siege Feathers calls those one of the most edible Chaos Emerald designs.
Exactly. Now, are you seeing a chewy sweet or a hard sweet? And I ask you,
hard
Chris,
sweet.
And also I ask Siege and everybody.
I'll say hard sweet.
I think hard sweet, but the kind of hard sweet that's not clear. You know what I mean? The kind, like like a melody pop made out of that stuff.
Yes, I was considered like a chupa chup.
Yes.
Kat says in the chat, STCTP will soon be heading towards the years where I was doing my GCSEs, and that feels absolutely impossible.
That's
yeah. What years? What are you? 96?
96? I think that was
3, 4, 5.
That
96.
would have been our year, wouldn't it?
96 would. No, but 97 would have been the year I actually did the exams.
Yes.
But fourth year now.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm studying for my GCSEs now.
What was it like? What was your studying technique for GCSEs?
Do you know what primarily what I remember about my GCSEs, if I have my timetable right, was the time that I was off when you had your that period where you were just off school and that was your revision time. That was when I discovered the shit American soap opera Sunset Beach on Channel 5. And that was a fantastically rubbish show, and I got deep into that.
I reckon that was probably when you were...
Yes! Cat in the chat has just said, yes! Sunset Beach! Twins! That was when I guess we're talking about the same time then. Yes, I happened to put that on one day with the sudden revelation that there was a genuine, honest-to-God, unironic evil twin story going on. Yeah. The thing that all cartoons had told me American soap operas were all about. Yeah. And then, maybe it was Christmas that year. It couldn't have been Christmas because they weren't in line with the... But the dead old woman in the diamonds is the story she's also remembering. Yes, whenever a series of plot lines centering around magical jewels that had been removed from a statue of a Madonna that were turning everybody who touched them into old people, and they had to be returned to the statue by midnight on Christmas Eve.
Abby's trying to get our attention. What's up, Abby?
Just to say that Jolene has posted an excellent new icon in the Discord of pictures.
Oh.
And just wanted to sing its praises.
Okay.
So,
I will see that after the stream, which...
Going over to look at it now myself.
main chat room.
It is 11 o'clock, so really I should stop this stream, and we should do
Probably
it
should.
more another day. So let me do a... Instead of not doing that, let me do that. I'm going to do a save state. We'll carry on another day. I suspect that may have been your next exams rather than GCSEs. The reason I say that is because we used to watch Sunset Beach in the sixth form social centre. So that was A-level when that was on. So it depends on how
Yeah,
long
but I
was
mean,
on
it
for.
went on well past. It ran from 97 to 99. It says here on.
Oh, so did Radio 1 FM. 97 to 99, 1 FM.
Started on America in January 97. I wonder, was the broadcast concurrent with Britain then? I don't know.
I don't know.
It wasn't a very, that's a very short space of time for a soap opera to run.
And the thing about
3 years, like.
And I bet it was around then, about around 97, because it was on 5, and they would have been casting about for when they opened. They would have wanted a soap, wouldn't they? So they'll have got whatever cheap crap was going. But the thing about Sunset Beach that made everyone watch it at first was that it had like Wogan on Eurovision level sass from the continuity announcement.
Yes, because the credits were so long, and they had basically a fucking speed lines in the credits. I don't know if they were still doing it by the time you were watching it, but
That's
yeah,
familiar.
they would have letters sent in from viewers at home, and they would get a bit of the old Megadroid banter going on with the host. Credits took fucking 5 minutes.
Oh, that's so... What a nice idea. Oh.
But as I say, it didn't last for... And it definitely... It ended after I was done with exams altogether.
Uh-huh.
So...
Yeah.
And it says here it ended in December 1999 in America, so I don't know when that means it ended. I did, but I fell off of after the exams. I essentially fell off watching it again. But I did tune back in for the ending where they did like a double triple Dallas.
Oh, did they?
Where the heroine and the one half of the evil twins who was good got married, and then they did a Dallas where it turned out she dreamed the whole thing, but then it turned out she only dreamed she was having the dream, and that was how they ended the show.
Oh.
The only time in my life I've ever got into rock like that, but it was made for it was I don't want to call it like a meta soap opera, but it was like it had a checklist of all the cliche rubbish. Amnesia, dead wives coming back, evil twins,
It was
and
sort
cursed
of...
jewels. Listen, Dave, there was a storyline. They did the Poseidon Adventure. There was a whole storyline with an earthquake where like one half of the show was happening on land where they were dealing with the aftermath of an earthquake, and the other half was the flippin' Poseidon Adventure where a ship had been totally 180'd in the water, flipped over.
Kat, we'll talk about remind us to talk about Buffy like next time. Do you know, I never watched Buffy when it was on. I think I glimpsed at it, but
I did.
I watched it entirely on DVD in when I was off at uni. Someone just convinced me that Buffy was good, and I was like, "You sure? Are you sure?" It seemed like a silly television program I don't need to watch, and then they talked me into getting the entire box set, which was like 80 quid a
Wow,
pop.
that's quite a commitment, yeah.
Yeah, in those days. Like now, if you expect a DVD box set to be about 15 quid, then it was the first one was 60 quid, and every single one after that was 80 quid, and like
Jesus.
and I bought them
You
all.
wouldn't pay 20 quid today.
Well, and that's the thing. After the prices did come down, but I was getting the expensive ones, and the thing is, I loved it. I would sit there and I was able to have a DVD on every night. It was my first experience with binge watching. It was the first time that had been available. Except if you taped something that you already liked off the telly and then watched it again.
Yeah.
But the experiencing something as a binge watch was very nice.
I've been binging the Fast and the Furious movies this past fortnight.
I need to get onto those. I'm told they're the good sort of bad.
I think you might need to push yourself through the first couple to get to the bits that are actually not just about racing cars.
Yes, the first couple are sincere bad American soaps, and then it gets Sunset Beach later.
Well, that's the thing, that having watched all 9 of them now at this point, the thing is, I worry about wee Vin Diesel, because I think he thinks that we all think we take it seriously.
Right.
Because he takes it seriously.
Right.
It really feels like he wants all the absolutely ridiculous maudlin saccharine, it's all about family stuff, to be dead serious, when it's really just a massive meme and the big joke that the series is known for.
Yeah.
In and amongst a series that is otherwise being written with a very, very conscious awareness of how stupid it's getting with each film passing.
Yeah. Well, this has been a Sonic the Comic the podcast stream, because Chris is here.
Very much so,
and it's
definitely.
Sonic, and it's tied in with the Discord. We're not putting the Discord. Nobody put the Discord up in the stream chat, because you never know what rotters are going to be watching this. But if you want to join in the Discord,
what rotters would watch this?
Look, I know, and I made that mistake before.
Okay, fair enough. If you have had a bad experience, then I rescind my objection.
The only times we've had to ban people from the server has been when we put the server up in the chat during a stream. So, yeah, whatever. I'm sure we'll do that. But this being a new server, it is so far unsullied. And if you want to be on it, then there's only one way. You got to listen to Sonic the Comic, the podcast. You got to get involved.
Yes, I mean, it is a completely open public server for a podcast that has over 1,000 followers on Twitter.
Although we're going to be moderated.
It's not in any way a private or anything that you need to reach out to us to join. No. That's why I'm weird about you. That's why I'm.
It's different.
Puzzled.
It's different audiences. The people who are going to see the tweet are people who've listened to our podcast and followed us or our Twitter. Whereas just put something on Twitch and there's algorithms. People just see it. It comes up. If anyone's looking for Sonic 3D for some reason, then you wouldn't want to associate with anyone who's doing that, would you? But anyway, yes, it's free enough. So go and listen to STCTP.zone is where you can hear the podcast. It's good. You should go and listen to it. It's nice. You'll enjoy yourself. Oh, see, we've got a rotter here in the chat, but I'm sure you're very nice. If you enjoy this, goodness me, you're going to enjoy the actual good stuff we do. This is rubbish. Go and listen to Sonic the Comic the podcast. You'll find it in your podcatchers. You won't find it on Spotify, but you'll find it everywhere else, and you'll find it at stctp.zone, and you'll like it. It's a podcast about how Sonic the Hedgehog is completely different now to how it was in the 90s? No, you don't, because you're young, you don't know anything. So, go to our podcast and you'll find out what the origins of this franchise were back when it was better. Doesn't he look like he's giving himself a little tickle?
That, because I feel like I was doing the heavy lifting for the last 2 hours of going, Sonic's bad now, actually. I don't feel like you were getting on my level.
Yes, fundamentally, what Sonic the Comic the podcast is about is we know that Sonic used to be better than it is now, and we want you to all experience that joy, and so you can do that. You will also be transported back into the 90s via a great big ring, and you will see what it was like to live there and be a child.
But you got to get 5 flickies first.
You got to get 5. You got to get those 5 flickies. Or you got to get one flicky. You got to get Johnny. You got to get Porker. You got to get Sally, but not that Sally. And you got to get Tux.
As Joe often takes pains to point out to me, Sally Acorn is technically an STC character, but as you say, Dave, not that Sally.
Not that Sally.
No.
Sally Acorn. Yes, Sally Acorn is. It's not even technically. Sally Acorn is one of our characters. Other people have sullied that character and done wrong with it. Vlad is the same age as Sonic and considers themselves young. Well,
32.
Well, it won't be long before Sonic's 40 years old. Sniper Joe being called out live on stream. Why? What did you do? Are you just
that
young?
Was me, Joe, talking about how Joe was telling me that
Sally's
that
Joe.
A
Sniper
character.
Joe is the same Joe as Joe.
Is that
right.
Joe? Yes.
Why do I find this so difficult to assume that all the Joes I see on our thing are the same Joe? Oh, I should have got my mug out for this, and I didn't. I used my normal mug.
Oh, I didn't have anything. I have not.
Well, you're not on camera.
That's true, but I haven't lubricated at all in the course of this.
Right, well, I'm glad to hear it. If you would like to hear us talk about old British Sonic comics that you might not know about and what Sonic used to be like, go to Sonic the Comic the Podcast, STCTP.zone. If you're not interested in that, but you are interested in me and Chris giving a run through of the first 4 Sonic novels that, and I suppose you could say the last, that were ever released. Some of the first Sonic stories ever released by Martin Adams, including Sonic in the Fourth Dimension, still one of the best Sonic stories ever told. Then, or if you would like to hear me read my 1997, 15 years old, apocalypse fanfic is the word I was reaching for. What I ended up was I nearly said ego fanfic, but that too. In which Sonic dies and all blood and guts comes out of him and stuff, and there's that sort of thing. You want to go and support the Patreon. Doesn't matter how much. STCTP.patreon.com. Yes. Or patreon.com/STCTP. Sonic the Comic the Podcast. You'll get that. There's much to enjoy. Ranimus. Oh, Ranimus is our, or one of our Postman Pat listeners. People deliver the post while listening to our podcast. There's at least one, and I think there's at least 2 post people who do that. I like that. That's cool. As you know, just as someone who was raised to enjoy post people because of Postman Pat. Anyway,
Haven't moved beyond that.
Not really.
Life, then, no.
No, not really. No. There was a brief period when. Oh, actually, do you know what I have? Our current post person delivers the Phoenix, the brilliant. Let me show you. I've got it here. Let me show you. I've got it right here because one.
I mean that actually it is true though that I feel like as so much of the world has become digital, I have developed a much greater appreciation of physical post than I had in, let's say, my 20s. Because
what was in your 20s, sorry?
That I had less appreciation for physical post. Because now when you get some physical post, it's like, ooh, it's been something you've been waiting for, Like the Phoenix here in this instance.
I don't have that experience. Normally when I get them, it's things that make me that make me give money to them. Like bills, but I don't really get bills. What am I thinking of? Oh, I get.
I was gonna say, who gets bills in the post anymore? They come to your email.
I get worrying medical letters, but they all just say, you're fine," and I'm like, "Well, shut up then."
Well, what you want to do is buy some more stuff.
Yeah.
So you can have the thrill of.
That's what it is. The post here is unreliable, so we have stuff sent elsewhere, and like.
Oh yeah, that's right. You get all your stuff sent to.
Yeah, it's not as fun. It's not nearly as fun.
No, not remotely.
I've bought something very silly and very fun from eBay in the last few days, but I'm not telling you what it is because it's a secret from Abby. She'll find out when it arrives, but then I'll tell you. Here's today's Phoenix. She's taken it out, but you can see, if I just cover up her address, you can. The trouble is, the address is where the evidence is. You can see the evidence of how it's sort of treated. No, it's not very clear, but it comes in a lovely, nice envelope, and it's a lovely comic, and it comes every week, and Abby is in it. But they just scrunch it up, and they take a thing. They have to put it in. They think they have to put it in a post box. They're wrong about that because they could just leave it on the side or prop it up at the top. But no, what they do is they take our comic and they go.
Oh god! Oh, it sickens me.
Every week.
I wouldn't have it. I swear, I would write a sternly worded letter.
Well, what I might do is what they've done downstairs. There's another neighbour of ours who's basically stuck a thing over the slot and gone like, I can't find the key to this, so don't put anything in it and just leave it on the side. And that's quite a good idea. I might do that. Anyway.
Well, if you feel it's safe being left on the side, I still remember. I remember one time back when I was working retail in comics. It was an issue of X-Men because I always remember it. They bought the issue, they took the issue in their hand, they rolled it over on itself and tucked it into their inside coat pocket. And it was like the psychic damage I received was nothing ordinary at all.
It's not what you do, but that's theirs. You know, do what you want.
Dave, the Saved by the Bell DVD. Dave, Abby is just saying in the Twitter. Do tell that story before we go.
Okay, so
This is I really had a good hard cackle at this, as I recall.
I'll get them for the visual aid. They're only over there. Hang on.
Sorry, I'm remembering it now.
So, I just got a Jones in to rewatch Saved by the Bell. Perhaps I.
You know, like a normal person doesn't.
Like a normal person doesn't. I was so into Saved by the Bell when I was 11 years old because they played basically the whole thing across one summer and the following Christmas and maybe a bit of the next summer, but it was very fast that it all happened. And so me and my brother got deep into it, and it was like one of those what do you call it, where you what's the thing relationship that you mustn't have with podcast hosts?
A parasocial relationship.
It was a bit like
with
that.
Zach fucking
A bit.
Zach,
Morris, yeah, a bit.
Morris.
A little bit. And not just him, like a lot of them. It was like, these are not my friends, but these are my like fantasy friends. Well, anyway, and we watched it millions of times. Like I could probably recite quite a lot of it. But I thought, right, it's available on DVD, and there's no reason I can't have that. So I bought it. Here it all is. And I sent it to Abby's comic shop because, as I said, dodgy post here. And now the shop only opens at like 10, I think. So before that, and there'll be people in there from 9, but if the post comes round earlier even than that, then, it's not getting picked, no one's answering the door. And usually what they do is they'll just go away and maybe come back later, or the delivery drivers just know what shops are open when, because it's shops. They're used to this. What happened in this instance was that the Amazon driver just put the package on the floor. Now, this shop opens out onto like a street in a city. Just a main normal street. It's not hidden away in any way. It's in a popular area that people walk about a lot in. So what we had was someone's Amazon packages, mine, just on the floor in the city of Manchester, hoping that at some point I'll get it.
Just
And
lying in it's
lying
the
there.
little recessed entryway of a shop.
No.
So literally lying on the street.
No recessed entryway on the street.
It's not even right. Zero. Okay.
No recessed entryway. There was because the shutter covers that, so it's just
all the
on
way
the
down.
street.
Right,
Yeah.
fair enough. So literally just lying in the street.
In the way of the foot traffic. So, you know what's going to happen. Amazon packages, thieves are going to come along and go, Amazon packages.
The internet has told me that's a thing. I've never had to experience it myself, but
Doesn't even have to be thieves. Any person could come along and go, someone's left some Amazon packages, and right now, I'm feeling comfortable with opening them and taking the contents. They wouldn't have to.
Well,
have
that
been a thief
makes you a
before.
thief.
In that moment, but they're not. They wouldn't have to have been a thief before.
They didn't arrive with thieving intent.
Yeah, yeah. They weren't prowling around looking for packages like there's one. Well, when the manager of the shop arrived, what he found was that yes, the package had been torn open by a thief or multiple thieves. There's no way of knowing how many people went through this, and the contents had been slid out, observed, put back, and left on the floor. And so, we will never know how many people went by and went, oh, an Amazon package, I'm going to steal the contents of that. No, that's fine.
By the Bell DVDs. No.
That's fine, I'll leave that. And the thing is, the local thieves, because there were local thieves, like regulars, as it were, what their business was there was a particular pub or bar or whatever that they would then go and sell stuff at. So if shoplifters would go into that shop, cast around for anything that looked expensive, not knowing what anything was, and they would pop a board game under their jacket or a book or whatever, anything they thought that they could flog on. And apparently, a complete set of this many DVDs, they're like, no, there's no one I can sell this to. Absolutely not. I can sell the board game version of Age of Mythology, no problem, down the pub, but not Saved by the Bell.
What way do those DVDs break down? You've got 3 box sets there. What are they?
we cannot. I can't even begin. I don't know for sure, but like, imagine if you could take all of the episodes of a I think, how many seasons was it? Was it like
Well, that's what I'm
4?
saying. So they're not season box sets.
Let's say they say they are. Let's say there's 3 to 5 seasons of Save the Bell. I don't even know. It's actually
right.
ambiguous. Imagine you could take all those episodes, put them in a pile, juggle them up, scrunch them up, shuffle them, and then just distribute them in any order onto a number of discs. Like, the way to watch the series in order is not only to look up the production order and watch them in that order, but that involves swapping discs every couple of episodes, perhaps to other box sets. Like, it's and the thing is, they're all made in an order, and because the children in it get older.
One of the great big tales of Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
One of the great problems of hiring child actors.
Yeah, there's one bit, in fact, the most interesting effect that it creates is that there's one bit where the series has ended and they have done a finale and everything, and a tearful farewell to the school and to each other. And then it just gets renewed. But 2 of the girls in it negotiate for better contracts and are immediately fired and replaced with one replacement girl. And nothing is said about any of this in the series. There's no explanation. There's no like, oh, this is the reason we're at school again is it's summer school because Zach didn't get his grades or anything. There's nothing. They're just still there, even though they definitely graduated in a big way.
They probably didn't air in that order, right? Like, the intent was probably supposed to be that they would air before the finale, but just that Kelly and Jesse were conspicuously missing from the show for however many episodes.
Well, possibly. I mean, they certainly made them in the order I'm describing there, and that
yes.
But yes, and as a result of that, they just air randomly. Now, Channel 4, by the way, here in the UK, aired the whole thing in production order. No problem. The order that I'm watching them on in the DVDs, that's the order they are on my old home videos. But or video, whatever the word is for VHS taped off the telly. Yeah. But no, in America they aired so juggled up that nobody could tell what was going on and why.
Well, juggled up is probably the best way to air them, right? Just so that, like, you know,
maybe.
So one day or 1 week, you just get an episode that Kelly and Jesse aren't in, and there's this other girl instead. Yes. Instead of a month or 2 without Kelly and Jesse conspicuously just disappearing.
You're right, except that the one constant in Saved by the Bell is who Zach is currently trying to get off with. And so, like, if he's in this stable relationship with Kelly Kapowski...
That's true.
And then meanwhile he's getting off with this biker chick on Tuesdays...
Good point. I wasn't considering the deep
It makes it more interesting than it is. Also, there's another one where they filmed what was obviously supposed to be a week-long run of episodes where they're on this beach in Malibu, running a beach like a
I remember that one. Yeah.
And again,
Christmas in July story in there.
And again, there's this running story of him trying to get off with the girl there, who's the daughter of Pumbaa off of The Lion King, and that was random. So, like, they would be at school, and now it's the summer holiday again, and it was very odd in America. You have to watch it in the UK. That was the true way to watch it. Also, I'm gonna have to dig out my videos at some point because these episodes, this is syndication. Nobody watched it in the original airing. Everybody watched it in syndication, right? It wasn't very popular when it originally aired. They didn't think it. They were surprised every time they got called back for another series because there was no viewing figures at all. And it was because it went into syndication, and that's where everybody watched it, right? In syndication and on the DVDs, 5 minutes cut out of every episode to make room for an advert break, but not on Channel 4. So up in the attic, I've got the videos. It might be the only surviving copy of the entire series uncut.
Wow. Those DVDs were really made back in the old Wild West days, weren't they? Whenever DVD box sets where everything got a DVD box set and no care went into the actual production of them.
Yeah.
Like, nothing gets a box set anymore, and if it does, it's because somebody really wants it to happen well.
Yeah. Now, these days, you honestly might as well make your own dream cardboard box for it to go in and then just watch the files you've pirated.
Oh, I mean, yes, but I really don't. I still enjoy having a nice DVD or Blu-ray box, you know, get the experience of actually going and getting the disc out and putting it in. I was watching some old Turtles there recently.
Oh,
I was getting the disc out.
I've
and
got to try and
watching
get hold of those because I've only got the first 2 box sets, and that's not enough.
I think, Dave, genuinely, if you got that, you would never finish it.
No. Well, that's the thing, and I don't want to because I don't like it after a certain point.
But but that's the funny thing is that the point you're talking about, where after it you don't like it anymore, that's when it actually becomes a good TV program.
That's it.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about it.
Fair enough.
It's like Turtles is not a good cartoon. It was an intensely popular cartoon, but it was not a well-made cartoon.
Yeah.
The animation is never better than sort of all right at best, and it's like written by, and I'm not knocking David Wise here, a lovely man, story edited the thing for 9 years, but no, doesn't care, does not care about anything episode to episode at all. Rife with constant contradiction in amongst it. Turtles was a comedy cartoon that they sometimes hit each other in.
Yeah.
But the bit you're talking about where it gets weird after a while is the last 3 seasons. It's only the last 24 episodes out of nearly 200 episodes.
Oh, wow.
But that's whenever it tried to be a real cartoon. After Batman the Animated Series had come out and X-Men had come out on TV, and they were like, oh, these things are actually good and tearing up the ratings. We need to try and compete by having actually doing a real story with characters and meaning.
Well, that makes it an interesting, first draft at what they then did a couple of years later, which was
very much
actually
so,
good
yes.
TV series with characters and meaning and stories.
Well, I'm saying the last 3 seasons they succeed pretty well at that.
Right.
For the limitations of the time and the
only trouble is they've got those eyes, haven't they? You can see green round them. Ugh.
Well, if you're going to cry about that,
I am. I am. I'm going to wow about that. That's the main thing that annoyed me.
But that was whenever you suddenly see. It was. I imagine part of it for you was the terrifyingly rude shock with which you were introduced to it. Wherever you had no idea it existed until it was one or two of the episodes were included as a bonus on the original miniseries DVD.
Yep.
You were like,
right.
What the shit is this?
Yep.
I was there for it back in the day.
Yeah.
Not properly, though. I mean, I can safely say that I didn't follow the show, watch it regularly. Oh, I guess it was when the Technodrome was back in Dimension X, after it had been in the Earth's core. So I fell off during the bit where it was back in Dimension X. I would, but every so often I would see another one, and the Technodrome would be somewhere else. Oh, it's in the Arctic. Oh, it's at the bottom of the ocean. And I was like, oh, I guess they moved that. And I did see the last episode of the 7th season, which is the last episode before they do the whole revamp. And I watched the 7th episode, and I was like, whoa. I just randomly stumbled over it, and there was no seeking it out anymore. There were basically too many episodes of Turtles for UK television to know what to do with. There were so many episodes of Turtles that it was really made for daily syndication, which we've talked about on the podcast. We just don't have that. We don't have that here.
Yeah.
But there were too many episodes of Turtles to have one a week, to have only one a week in the UK. But I watched that last episode of season 7, and I watched it, and I was like, shit, did I just watch the last Turtles? And then a few years later, I discovered no, they were still making Turtles.
Yeah, because it can't have been aired on terrestrial by that time.
RTE. It was shown on terrestrial Irish television.
Right.
I presume it must have only ever been on satellite British television.
Yeah. Must have been. It has satellite written all over it.
But what was it? Mambo Cat in the chat says IRC TMNT was axed on CBBC. That's a lot of 4-letter acronyms. IRC TMNT axed on CBBC. I don't know.
It's like with some ceremony. I don't remember it happening. I feel as if I would have been.
I mean, I remember there was a point at which it simply wasn't on anymore, but I couldn't have told you when that was. I feel like I can remember it airing on RTE well beyond the point where it wasn't on any British channels anymore. But there was, as I say, there was simply too much of it.
Yeah.
CBBC wouldn't have known what to do with it if they were only showing Turtles once a week. They would just have been drowning in Turtles episodes. Poor Gordon the Gopher would have been smothered under the pile of TMNT episodes they just had lying about the broom cupboard.
Every time he goes for a broom, a load of them pile down.
Just more Turtles episodes. Just finding them under the bed, under every crevice.
I think that's the end of this stream now.
Yes, I think you're right.
I've already had a complaint that the music was still on, so I put on the music from Turtles on the Spectrum.
Oh, what? Right, with the music of Sonic.
Yeah, which is even worse. All right, bye, everyone. This has been a nice
stream. See you
stream.
next time, guys. I guess maybe we'll come back and finish Sonic 3D and talk some more shit.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
STCTP.zone. Oh,
didn't sing it.
I have to end the stream. STCTP.zone. Listen to the show.
You should be reaching for the turn off button as I sing the end credits music.
Okay, go on.
I don't know. I'm ruined. I didn't have lyrics. You had lyrics going. The whole
I'm
rhythm of the thing has been spoiled. I was just going to do the melody.
Bye,
Bum, bum, bum.